What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another Omniheroes video. Alright guys, we're going to be doing an updated version of the top units for all the synergies in the game. The reason why I'm doing this is because when I first made the video, it was roughly about 20 to 30 days into the initial game, and I was fairly early and new, and I was giving you guys my perspective on some of the testing I was doing. Now, with the game being out for 60 days almost for me, I have a much broader and better vision of what you guys should be aiming for. Now, I know there's tier lists that I've created, so you can definitely go back and watch each individual tier list with the explanation of each ranking, but I think a one-stop shop video is also something that a lot of people enjoy, so we're going to go ahead and jump in here and do that now. The way I'm going to tackle this is we're going to do it two ways. We're going to do two of the top non-D&D units, so that's going to be non-demon, non-divine, and then I'm going to add two additional top D&D units that you should definitely be using as well too. Okay, so we're going to do that for you guys so everybody has a clear picture of what to look for. So let's start off with the Mystifiers. Now, the first two non-D&D units that you're going to aim for, I'm going to go ahead and actually do archives. We'll do it this way instead, because that way you can see all the units, are going to be Franz here. And the reason why is, number one, he has a 100% chance to do the corrosion, can apply up to 3 stacks on his ultimate. He also has 2 stacks over here, but more importantly, his passive over here allows the actual damage for corrosion to be increased by 100% done by all allies. So he is a absolute imperative unit to have on this team. From here, you can do one of two things. You can go through Minotaur here, who actually doubles the stack of corrosion on the targets that he hits with his moves, which is huge, obviously, because it'll continue stacking corrosions even further. Or you can push for someone like Bastet over here, who actually does additional things here as well too. She does additional corrode stacks. She does more here with her active, and then with her passive though, she actually she ignores shields. So if you're fighting a heavy shield team, this is something that you definitely want to use if it's going to be against someone like Thalos' team or another team like Lily and Leah, so Glorians. She's going to pretty much be a must as well too, okay? And she also has a 25% chance to double the corrode stacks as well too on enemies. So she's going to be a fairly big part of the units. The thing with the Mystifiers, keep in mind that you do need a lot of them, because some of these units, for example, like Ose here, will actually increase the amount of corrosions, I believe. Let me double check here if it was him. Was it him? Oh no, it wasn't him. Hold on, let me go back. Was it Emily? I believe it was Emily. There we go. Yeah, so when Emily's deployed, increase the amount of stacks of corrosion by 5. So she's also a pretty big part. So honorable mention obviously is going to be her. So Franz, Minotaur, Bastet would be my first two, but choose between where you want to go. I think Minotaur would be a better option, to be honest, for a lot of newer players, because easier to get, in my opinion. And then Emily's pretty much a must-have for that. Now for D&D, it's going to probably be Thalos, which additionally increases the damage of corrosion by another 50%, plus offers you shields. And then of course Catherine here, who does even more corrosions, also applies 5 stacks of it instead, and then 3 stacks on her active, and then also does vital drain on all enemies. And then also whenever she receives healing, she'll also heals all allies by 50%. So pretty big deal. And any excess healing will also give her additional attack up to 30%. So she's a must-have unit for the Mystifier. So those are your two best, I would say, options for Mystifiers in terms of the D&D versions, okay? So that's who I would go for. So I would probably do Franz first, Minotaur, and then these two. All right, guys, moving over to Valianters. Now, this team here is going to be something that a lot of people like, because they're a bursty team, a lot of physical damage, and a lot of DPS just output in general, right? So the first two big units here you want to aim for is going to be Atropos here, who is actually going to be one of the best buffers in the game, period, for any synergy. She's a plug-and-play unit, but specifically for these guys, because she applies a mass attack up for 1 round. With her active, she does it again as well here, and then her passives here, every time increases her damage reduction by 30%, so making her alive, like even stronger to stay alive. And then also her second passive, after an ally kills an enemy, Atropos restores team's HP. Healing is 50% of her attack plus 5%. So obviously the more she increases her attack, the more the healing does. So she's pretty much plug and play for any single team you decide to put her in. She will boost attack like crazy, and you guys will probably have a better damage output, but she especially shines, of course, with her own synergy team. Now the other two here is up to you. Themis is going to be the better of the two DPSs I'm going to mention here. The reason why is if she actually kills somebody with her special, she'll do a mass AoE, hitting everybody else for more physical damage. But that's really that's really if you kill the unit first, which for a lot of content will happen early on. You'll be one-shotting things with her final slash, and you'll be doing that mass AoE very, very often. Now, the other thing she does here, she does 100% physical damage attack, which applies defense reduction down on opponents, and it can actually make her hit even harder. So her active is pretty good, and then her passives here also applies defense reduction on all enemies after killing her target. So not only will she do the final slash plus AoE damage if she does that, but anytime she kills anybody, she applies defense reduction as well too. So this is going to be probably your main early start DPS. Now, the reason why I said honorable mention, I find Elune to be a more valuable end game unit for these guys. The reason why is because she does do single target damage, but she also applies mark, and then marked units are attacked first, so she essentially makes it like a target, almost like a fake taunt. And then she also does defense reduction on an enemy with the lowest defense, and then her active also does defense reduction again physically with physical damage, and then her passive applies onslaught to all allies for 2 rounds. Onslaught increases physical damage boost by 50% and cannot be stacked, but still 50% damage more for physical is pretty crazy, and that mark works really, really well late game. So those 3 there are going to be your main ones. If you're looking for to push end game, you're probably going to want to go Atropos first for sure, and then Elune next. But if you want to do early to mid game, Themis actually shines a lot more. Now, as for D&D, there's no question about it. It's going to be Macaria for PvE content and PvP. She not only does massive AoE damage and also stacks defense reduction. Also increases damage by 20% for every defense reduction that's done. So having her paired with Elune or Themis is really good, or anyone who does that. She also does attack reduction, and then she also increases the amount of shield percentage by 50%. So very, very powerful unit throughout the game. Very good for PvE, but nobody shines in this game better for PvP than Nyx, because all of her skills have a chance to do 10 times the damage to enemies, and it's insane when you see those numbers. And not only that, but if she kills, if ally kill more than 2 enemies, she steals the target's shield as well too, and making it her own. So a crazy good unit. So those 2 are going to be your main D&D. Depends, if you want to thrive in PvP more, you go with Nyx. If you want to do better for PvE, you go with Macaria. Okay, so that is going to be your Valianter team right there. All right, moving over to my favorite, which are the Ethereals. Now this one's going to be really easy to go with. Katarina, easily one of the best units in the game, hands down, period. Doesn't matter. She can go on any team as well too, by the way. She does insane damage first off with doing AoE, and then every time she lands a crit, she does additional 50% more damage. With her active, she actually gives herself attack boost, plus does 2 stacks of it actually, giving her 10% extra attack. And then her passive here, she also increases defense reduction stacks, and after dealing damage, there's a 50% to actually apply 3 of them on the enemy. And then her passive, every time an ally lands a crit, she applies a shield equal to 50% of her attack to all allies for 2 rounds. Total package. And not only that, but she's a pirate, so that even makes her cooler. So probably one of the best units in the game, and one that everybody should be aiming for. Now the second one here is probably going to be Dorabella, because she does mass AoE damage, also applies defense reduction down as well too, physical and magic defense reduction. So you can see here she does it fairly often, so making all the other units hit harder. Plus she does a lot of damage herself, and not to mention when she is deployed, she has a 25% chance to start a sync attack after an ally lands a critical hit, and she applies 1 stack of defense reduction when that happens as well too. So Dorabella will be my second choice here between the non-D&D factions. Now here, Karnak wins hands down. Karnak is the easiest unit to use here early on without dupes, because he not only does damage, but he also applies critical boost on all allies. With his active, he does the same thing here as well too, where he gives you critical stack boost. And then with his passive, when Karnak is deployed and an ally lands a crit, there's a 100% chance he heals the entire team, providing healing for everybody with 50% of his attack plus 3% of the target's max HP. And then his second passive, when Karnak is deployed, he increases the amount of crit boost you can get past the 5 mark, making it 10, giving you guys an insane amount of crit along the way. Now, if you were to go for mass DPS, Mastima is great and easier to get than Eudora. Eudora is actually really tough to summon for, because she can only be found in synergies that I've noticed at least. But Mastima is fantastic for DPS, but you want to definitely target Karnak first and then Mastima second, because Mastima only shines if he's doing a lot of crits. If he's not doing crits, he's not following up with any of his AoE attacks or his splashes, and you're not getting the max amount potential out of him, okay? So definitely go Mastima second, Karnak first. All right, moving over to Glorians. So Lilia, one of the most prolific and best healers in the game, plus provides you shield, so a must-have pretty much for these guys. So you definitely want to go for them. Plus she offers attack boost. She increases the limit of attack boost as well too. So very, very important unit to go for. As for the regular DPS, you can go for one of two things. You can go for Nawe here if you want basic DPS, who does more attacks every time she does her active. She has a chance to apply attack boost on herself. And also whenever she does her ultimate, she also has a chance to do attack boost for all allies in the same line. So very, very good. And her passive also lets her trigger 4 basic attacks to random enemies one time per action. Okay, so very, very good unit for DPS. But if you're looking for a magic user, honorable mention here, Marina is really good as well. Okay, now between Gwyn and Thalanis, Gwyn is your number one choice. He is going to boost pretty much any team. He's incredible. Not only does he do insane amount of damage, he provides leech rate, but he also does attack reduction on enemies, and he also applies attack boost to all of your allies when an ally is attacked. It doesn't matter if it's him, it could be anybody who's being attacked, he'll give you guys an attack boost. And then secondly, Thalanis will be your second. She's more of a PvP unit in my opinion, but still shines in PvE, but definitely go for Gwyn first out of those options. Okay, next up, Avengers. So Celine, number one choice, hands down. One of the best DPS in the game, does insane AoE damage across the board, does frontline damage as well, and then not only that, but also does attack boost, and then also increases the limit of attack boost as well too. And then when Celine is deployed, the limit of heal rate also increases by 5. So overall, one of the best damage dealing units in the game. You definitely want him, and he can plug and play on any team as well too, by the way, just so you guys are aware. Secondly, you can have Persephone if you don't plan to go for Lachesis. She's going to be your main healer here. It gives you fortitude as well, where you can't go below 1 HP, keeping you alive longer, obviously, and also applies stack of heal rate boost, which increases the damage of, the healing done by all your healers, right, including herself. So very, very important unit for this team. Albert, honorable mention, is really good as well too, as he does skill damage boost by 30% with his passive, and Solomon's actually really good. So you can't really go wrong with the Avengers, but these two are going to be your primaries here. As for your main DPS here, it's going to be Arctina and also going to be Janna. So those two are the ones you want to go for over Lachesis, because Persephone does a lot of what she does already. You don't really need her, even though she's the best healer. These two are going to be your main units you want to thrive for. Okay, so it's going to be Arctina first and then Janna second. Janna's harder to get, so Arctina should be your main goal for that one. And then lastly, Doomsdayers. Merlin and Doris, I would say, are the main two right here that you want to aim for. Both magic users, both AoE. Both of them have decent damage, but also require reflect boost to really shine. So use those guys. And as for your main D&D unit, you definitely want to go for Wushta. I find she's much better. She has the charm ability, mass AoE damage, and damage boost to your teammates, and then also offers increased reflect rate. All right. So you guys have it. That's pretty much it for all the units. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. But this is the updated version. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.